Hello, this is she, and I'm here to speak about my perspective on the history of mankind. Well, first, everyone is speaking of wanting to solve this world, wanting to solve the experience of human beings, of this world, because not many seem to be satisfied, pleased, with the current experience of mankind on earth. Rather a disgrace, a shame. But it is interesting because we are here because of those that have gone before us. We are here because of the starting point of something. This is merely the outflow of that starting point. And I find many human beings trying to develop organizations or methods, different methods of moving forward. Though, how are you able to manifest organizations in an already troublesome manifestation of this world and humanity? If we're already in it, how are you able to solve it by implanting another organization? And how are you able to solve it or change the situation if your starting point is not resolved? It is as though humanity has been in a current manifested expression of the past and trying to build onto that a solution to the situation. But it hasn't been working, has it? You have religions, you have spirituality, you have organizations, you have ascension processes, you have attainments of sorts, but all those are founded on the same basis and principle, which is what our past has been, what has brought us here. So what am I saying? I'm saying, have a look. We had a starting point of this existence. This that we're merely experiencing right now is the outflow of that starting point. Now that starting point is still here, it is still manifested. All the outflows of that starting point is still here, it's still manifested. There is no such thing as in history, and history always remain. It depends on whether that history, which is here, will be changed based on your starting point. In other words, the starting point is not there in the past or in the history. We're very much still in the past, in the history. We're still living that. Is that not so? Has all of humanity existence possibly changed their starting point? In the starting point of existence, the history, what has occurred, what has happened, are we not also then that history? Are we not also then those that have gone before us? If the principle of oneness and equality exists and manifests in this world. So, what then to do? Because I'm here, I'm still here. My starting point is obviously still the same as it was in the history, the starting point of existence. So then the question is, what is that starting point? So therefore, what I'm saying is that the origin of ourselves is important. Because if we know our origin, we know the solution. Because, obviously, we've never gone and looked there, and looked at it from the perspective of maybe we must all collectively return to the origin, the problem, the source within ourselves. Because it was only us that existed in the beginning, beings, no matter what form, no matter what shape, no matter what expression. Isn't that so? So therefore, history is very much still here and very much still playing out. It's not in the past and it is not in memory. If it exists in memory, then clearly it must still exist. It still exists here in the world, in scriptures, in books, then certainly it is still here, is it not? So therefore, why separate ourselves from anything, even from our history? Because we're as responsible for our history as we are for our future, but we haven't been able to create the future because we're still in the history. Why are we still in the history? Because we haven't realized that we are history. We are those beings that it is in history. So, that will mean that, have we ever really lived? Have we really ever created? Have we really ever changed the future? Because what is the future at the moment but still the outflow of the past? We're still trying to figure out and understand our creation. Now, why not go back? Why not go back to the starting point? Why go through all the complexities and intricacies of a mind consciousness system trying to understand itself from the beginning all the way through, still, but not looking back at the starting point? So isn't that maybe something to take into consideration? That it might just be the starting point of ourselves in the beginning. That could be the answer. But that starting point has to be clear within all, as one. Wouldn't that be where oneness would start then? The origin of ourselves. First, get there. Realize that. From there you stand up and take responsibility and you live. Because then something changed. Because then you'll realize that everything of this world will disappear. Because it didn't exist really. Then what does exist? Do you still exist? Do you still remain? Will you disappear if you go back to the origin point? Yes, probably. You will. But you will still remain as well. Do we really die? What is death? What is it that we exist? Why do we exist? Why does death exist? Why does Earth exist? Why do the dimensions exist? Why are we still here? Why are we still living the past? Why have we not returned to origin? Maybe that's, in any case, what 2012 will bring. The end of time. So that we're able to return to the origin. There's two perspectives. Either we collectively stand and return to the origin within ourselves, or we'll do it for ourselves, just in a different way. What does man so fear losing at the end of time, apparently? What is the end of time? What do you lose? What do you gain? What is lost, really? Do we lose anything? Have we ever really lost everything? Or have we been lost all this time? And therefore the perception exists that we've lost something, that we'll lose something. Strange. Okay, this is she. Just my perspective and some sharing about the history of mankind. Thank you very much.